Apologies for the unexpected interruption. Please forgive me. Okay, great. So Rebbe says the only matzah you can use, the only type of piercing tool you can use should be from metal, not the ones mentioned before that are made of wood or maybe plastic, whatever. Now, דבר אחר, המרצע, the word ha-מרצע with a hey, הידיעה, the, all, להביא המרצע הגודל, comes to tell you that you should use martzeh godol. What does that mean? Really, some Rishonim, yes, a few Rishonim they erase the word lahovi. Lahovi comes to tell you that you can also use the big martzeh. You can also use the large all. What does it mean? This is not also martzeh godol. As we're going to see later, you should use a big tool. And soon we're going to see what that means, but it means you should use a big tool, not a small one. In other words, there has to be a certain shiur, there has to be a certain minimal size to the hole that's made in the ear. Okay? Omar Belozo, and that will be explained. Omar Belozo, says Belozo, Yudan Berebi or Yudoirish, Yudan Berebi, the great person Yudan Berebi means Yudan the great, he would make the dosha, and he would say, Kshen roitzim, when they make the retzia, the piercing, en roitzim ela be-milsa, which means when you rotzea, you should be rotzea the milta. What's milat? Clay milas is silk, yeah? Like, yeah, also pillows, right? Milsa here means the earlobe, the soft part of the ear. This is where you should pierce, like today is normal, yeah? That's where you should pierce the hole in the Eved's ear, the milsa. The Chachomim fiercely argue. And they say, Ein Eved Ivri Koyan Nirza. They bring a proof to their point. The proof here is before the claim. Very interesting. And they say, Ein Eved Ivri Koyan Nirza. An Eved Ivri was a Koyan. Let's say a Koyan stole. Oh. A Koyan is the one who stole. Now you want to be Rotzea, the one who stole. Yeah. Eved Ivri Koyan cannot be Nirza. Yeah, if you have an Eved Ivri who's a Kohen, he cannot be pierced and he cannot overstay after the 6 years till the Yovel. Why? Because when you rotzeh the Kohen becomes a Baal Mum. The Kohen has a blemish, and Koyanim should not have blemishes, as we're going to explain later. A Kohen who has a mum, a blemish, cannot serve in the Beis HaMikdash, and therefore, when you pierce a person's ear, then he becomes a Baal Mum, and therefore you cannot pierce his ear. And now Chachomim prove their point. Must be you, Yudan Berebi, you must be wrong. Why? If you want to tell me that the piercing is done in the soft part of the ear, in the earlobe, why should the Kohen be a Baal Mum by that? In other words, when you pierce over here, then eventually it closes. Yeah, so because it closes, it's not really called Baal Mum. It's a Mum Oiver, it's a temporary thing. Must be, if you pierce a regular person, an Eved Ivri who's not a Kohen, where do you pierce him? In a part that would make him Baal Mum, and that is in a cartilage. That is what's called in real Lashon HaKodesh Tnuch. Tnuch HaOizen is a cartilage. When you make a hole over there, that hole will stay forever, because hurting the cartilage is a Mum, while hurting just the soft skin, the soft flesh, is not called mum. And therefore what? Therefore, if we see that there's an issue, Cohen becoming Baal Mum, so you don't pierce him, must be it's done in a place where it's real, the cartilage. Must be against what you say, Yudan Berebi, must be when you do pierce the Eved, not the Cohen, the regular Eved, you pierce him in the upper part of the ear, and that's why it's a mum. Now, having said that, now we also understand better about the big martzeh. The big martzeh is a martzeh that has a minimum shiur, a minimum measurement of kedei. The Gemara says in a different place in Erchin, when it talks about, or in Bchoros, where it talks about the mumim of the Kohen, it says that the size of, in Bchoros, the size of a hole in the body of a Kohen that makes him Baal Mum is really kedei karshinin. I think it means the grain of a kalshin. A kalshin is like an animal fodder, some kind of like leek or something like that, and that is the size. Now we know that the size makes a difference, because if it would be smaller than that, it wouldn't be a mum. Anything, yeah, we have an issue of mum, don't do it to the Kohen. Yeah, if it's something so small, it wouldn't be a mum. And that's why you need martzea godol. Martzea godol is a martzea that pierces a hole that's the size of a kalshina. I don't know how much that is, but smaller than that won't make a difference. So now, b'maika miflagi. Now we're going back to the original machloikes between Rabbi Yosef Bar Yehuda and Rabbi about the material that the martzea has to be made out of. Yeah, is it anything or just metal? Oh, this is a classical machloikes. B'maika miflagi. What made each one say whatever it says? We on Kiddushin Daf Chaf Aleph Amud Beis, a few lines before the end of the narrow lines. Today we're also going to see Rashi because this Rashi is a very important Rashi for the entire Shas. What's the machloikis between Rabbi Yosef Bar Yehuda and Rebbe? What's the machloikis? The Rebbe Dorish, Rebbe believes as follows: Klali uprati. Rebbe, whenever the Torah speaks about something general, then something more specific, and then general again, the way it works according to Rebbe, it works by klal uprat uklal, and we're going to see it in Rashi. And therefore, velakachta klal. When the Torah tells me velakachta, it means a very general idea. Anything you can take, anything that creates a hole in the person's ear works. Okay. Now the Torah says martzea. Martzea is prat. Martzea is an all. Okay, beseder. Martzea means prat is to tell me, says Rashi, and before we see it inside, klalu prat means the prat is explaining what the prat is. Yeah, the prat is describing that when the Torah says you should take only martzeh and nothing else, right? Okay, so prat is very, 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 very constricted. Only prat, only martzeh and no other tool. When the Torah tells you klalu prat, really the prat is explaining to you what the prat meant. Yeah. Now continues the Torah. The ozno yubadelis. You pierce his ear by the door. Oh, that's again chozar vekolal. Again, what do you do now? You got general again. There was a general rule, a very specific detail to explain the general rule, and then again we get general. Klal upatu klal. When you have a general rule, a detail, another general statement. Yatadan ela ke'ein haprat. What does that mean? Since in the middle of the formula, the prat, the detail, was only one item, when the Torah then opens up and gives you more options, the second klal, it's giving you other examples similar to the prat, similar to the detail. This is important because this appears like in at least 10 places in Shas, if not more. Ma prat mefur shel mateches, afkol shel mateches, which means, let me give you an example. Let's say I tell you I would like a drink. Okay, I have a drink already because Yitzchak gave me, yeah? I'd like a drink. What kind of drink? Coffee, Coke Sprite, orange juice, papaya juice, whiskey. There are lots of different types of drinks. It's absolutely, yeah, what's the story? And then I tell you a drink of Coke. It's very, very, very specific. Coke is it, nothing else. And then I say, or the like. Coke or the like. So it's Pepsi Max, maybe Sprite. It's definitely not tea, coffee, definitely not gin and whiskey, right? In other words, there was a very general rule, one example, and then we opened up and extended the example to other similar things. That's klal upatu klal. I think that was a good example. Same thing over here. General rule, anything that makes a hole, I'm not joking, even a laser beam, whatever. The Gemara is going to talk about some, even things that are not sharp, like all kinds of medications, yeah? And then he tells you only martzea, and then things similar to martzea. What are the similar things to martzea? Other items made out of metal. That's klal uprat uklal. Now Rabbi Yossi that viewed it very differently. Rabbi Yossi says as follows. Rabbi Yossi says more general. Rabbi Yossi was much more general. How does he view the general, specific general? In a different way, different perspective. Dorish ribuye umiuti. Whenever the Torah says, yeah, general and specific, we deal with it as if it's ribuy umiut. What does miut mean? Lema, it means to minimize, to take away, to deduct a little bit. Velokachta riba, the general rule, velokachta, that's the first word in the posuk, which is a general word, means anything. Martzea mi'et. Martzea means that we took the general rule and we just scraped off a little bit. I'll tell you a drink. I want a drink, but not coffee. But it could be many other drinks, not coffee. Maybe tea, maybe whiskey, maybe Coke, maybe carrot juice, right? We're only taking away from the general rule, but the minimization was much less. We still remain with a big list of things. The ozno badeles chozar veriba. And then when we again say the general word, we're coming to add even more. So we end up with a lot of items. Riba umiet veriba, riba hakoil. When you have ribu, miut, veribui, you end up with many, many more items. Again, I'm telling you, yeah, I want a drink. Then I say not coffee, and you figure out, okay, not coffee and not tea because they're similar. And then I'm telling you also tea. So the only item that's out is coffee. Yeah, in other words, it says all the drinks except for, let's say, hot drinks. And then I say, but yes, tea. So we end up with most drinks are in the group, except for maybe only coffee that's out. Same thing over here. Rabbi call my Rabbi call mili. You really Rabbi all types of items. My miet sam. Oh, in other words, when we say martzea, we are mitzamtzemit to things that are similar to martzea, also metal, but also non-metal. Yeah. And then we are merabe almost everything again, second time. Who's out of the group? Something very different to the mute, and that is sam. Sam is like a medication. Let's say that instead of using any tool, the person, the master, I don't know if the master does it himself or the Beis Din do it actually, because it's done in Beis Din. I'm not sure it does it physically. Maybe we'll discuss it later. Don't remember. If the person who's rotzea take some kind of medication, that causes the skin to perforation in the skin. It sounds painful. It could be enchinami. So such a thing, some acid, like an acidy thing, and he makes the whole that way. That is not kosher, right? Because that's ribu mute. We're memayit, memayit things that are not everything, and then we're merabe again. So we got not only metal, also non-metal. Metal and non-metal are in the group. The only thing that ended up mute is only one item, which is sam, or a laser beam. Let's say you can make all with a laser beam or something like that. I guess it won't be kosher. It has to be dafka clean. Okay, this is what we see over here. Let's read it inside Rashi. I'm actually debating that also. Allow me to just get to the two dots and then I'll hear your questions. Omar Mar Hamartzea. Now we're just adding that point of Hamartzea. Lehovi Martzea Hagodol. Again, the Girsa which is preferred by some Rishonim is not Lehovi. Lehovi means you can also add the great Martzea. That's not what's happening here. We say Martzea is Martzea Godol. The Martzea has to be large. How large? To create a hole that would make a mum to a Cohen, right? And therefore a Cohen should not be Nirza. My mashma. How do you know that the letter Hey Hayedia, which is equivalent to the English the, how do you know the means the big one? Which means Rove, there is in the Machloikes, in Chulin, where it talks about Gidanoshe. Oh, we just had it, right? 2 parshas ago, we had Gidanoshe. What's Gidanoshe? That's the gid, that's a sinew. You're not allowed to eat from the leg of the animal. And the question is, which leg, right or both legs? Yeah. So halacha, as far as I know, is both legs. Either leg you can't eat the gidanoshe. However, Rabbi Yehuda says you're not allowed to eat the gidanoshe only of the right thigh, the right one, not the left one. How does he know? Because it says there in the Torah, ha-yorech is the thigh, the one. The also in English, he's the man. Choshuv, he's the man. He's the choshuv guy. Hayerech ha-meyumenes, the right one. Right is always important, right? Achinami hamartzea miyuchad shebemartzea. So to here, when it says hamartzea, it's coming to tell you it should be the martzea, the all, and not all of them, just all. The choshev, a big one that makes a significant whole, only that one can be used. Yes, Ellen. Okay. Omar Belozo, third wide line. Kiddushin Chaf Aleph Amud Beis. Omar Rabbi El-Ozo, Yudan Berebi, Yudan the eminent, Hoyo Doiresh, there was a drosha that he would infer from the verse, Shen Roitzin, En Roitzin Ela Bemilsa, right? Rabbi El-Ozo, Yudan would say, Yudan Berebi would say, the retzia would be done only by milsa. What's milsa? In the soft part, the earlobe. The chachomim oimrim, no. Ein eved ivri kohen nirtza mipnei shenase bal mum. We know that an eved ivri kohen cannot be nirtza, right? Why can't it be nirtza? Because he is a bal mum. He would become a bal mum, and a kohen should not be a bal mum. That proves that the only place you do the piercing is in the cartilage, not in the earlobe. Why? Well, that's because otherwise it wouldn't be a bal mum. Had it happened here, if you do it here in the earlobe, it wouldn't be considered a mum, only in the cartilage, and therefore must be, if there's an issue of mum, must be it's the cartilage and nowhere else. Yes? Well, let's no, not true. Let's continue. We are all very ready to continue. All your questions are to do with the next line of the Gemara. Frekt the Gemara. The Gemara is asking a question now. V'yase bal mum. In nice, coarse English, who cares? Let the Cohen be a bal mum. Who cares if he becomes a bal mum? So what if the Cohen becomes a bal mum? We haven't seen an Isser in the Torah to make a Cohen bal mum, and also says Rashi, Retzia mitzvahi. Once the Cohen Eved, once Mr. Eved Cohen likes his wife and children and Odin and everybody, not by that order, but if he wants to stay, Mimela, that creates a mitzvah of Retzia. If there's a mitzvah of Retzia, do the mitzvah, do the deed, do the mitzvah of Retzia, and that overrides any other issue. Why not? And as far as I know, I don't know if there's an Isser for a Kohen to become a Baal Mum. If he's a Baal Mum, he can't serve in Beis HaMikdash. Maybe there's an indirect issue here. Begroma is not interested in working. But Lamais, here there is a mitzvah. Let the mitzvah override it. Now there's a mitzvah for him to become a Baal Mum. And says the Gemara, Omar Abba Barav Shila, Omar Kro. Oh, here listen carefully to what the Gemara says. It says, V'shavel mishpachtoi. After the Eved Ivri finishes his term, and my dear friends or parents, no, the Kohen will never be a Kohen forever and ever, unless he dies before the end. The Kohen will become an Eved till when? Till the Yovel. The Yovel will be in 10 years, 20 years, or 49 years. But okay, in most cases, he will become a free person at some point. And then we have a chiyuv to make sure that he goes back to his family at the end of that long or short term. What does it mean to go back to the family? Lemuchzak shebemishpachtoi. Muchzak shebemishpachtoi means the same way he was before. You have to give him back, you have to return him to his dignity. And because as a Kohen beforehand, he could serve in Beis HaMikdash, he served in Beis HaMikdash, even if an Eved didn't, I don't know if an Eved does or doesn't, maybe the Bailam has a shibud on him. It's a good question. L'chor should work in Beis HaMikdash. If you met during the 6 years, Tzvi, during the 6 years, maybe twice a week, twice a year, is off to Beis HaMikdash. Could be. I don't know. It's an interesting question. That doesn't seem to bother the Gemara here. The Gemara says if at the end of the term he goes back to be a Kohen and he cannot function as a Kohen as he used to function before, and now all of a sudden he can't function in Beis HaMikdash, he doesn't go to Beis HaMikdash to work because he has that silly little piercing over here. That is wrong. That is essentially wrong. You have to make sure that you have to treat him in such a way that when he becomes liberated, a free person, he'll be able to go back to the same status as before, and therefore you can't create a mum. That does intensify your question. You had an interesting question. I have to admit, what would be if there's a Kohen? Could be an interesting nafkamina. A Kohen already was Baal Mum, not a Mum Oiver. The Kohen Chas v'Sholem was I don't know, missing a hand. Chalila, yeah, he's missing a hand. He's a Baal Mum, right? He's still a good Eved Ivri. He can work his well with one hand. So then what? Then you're asking. Anyhow, he's not going back to work, right? And anyhow, that Mum should make a difference. Maybe there'll be. Efsha could be such a coin. You can cause the mum. It could be no. It could be once we're ready. Mechadish it's also for everyone. I don't know. It's a very, very interesting question. I have no idea what the answer is. I haven't seen I saw a few Rishonim here. I didn't see any reference to that. Your question was answered now? Or? Yeah. Yeah. Right. Here comes another question about an Eved Ivri coin. Now, don't get me wrong. An Eved Ivri, a Kohen may be sold as an Eved Ivri. He can't be nirtza. He can't be, right? He can't pierce his ear because that will create mum. But the first 6 years will be his last 6 years that he can work. Yeah, he can work. And as Imer Shifcha Kanainis, the guy who works for 6 years, was sold because he stole. Can you imagine? Some Kohanim would also steal. And what do? You give him a shifcha knai. Upa, do you? Do you give the Kohen a shifcha knainis? That's the following question. Iboilu, Eved Ivri Kohen. Mal shim solarabo shifcha knainis. Can a Kohen be with a shifcha knainis? Can the Odo and give him a shifcha knainis to be with? You decided it's a no. Okay, maybe. So now, why is it a chiddush by other Jews? Why is it a chiddush that a regular Eved Ivri, a regular Jew, an Eved Ivri is a complete Jew for all intents and purposes? Why do we say an Eved Ivri is a chiddush of Torah that it can be with a shifcha knainis? Because otherwise, there's an isser of lo hiye kodesh, a person who marries, who is with a goite, a person who's with a, even shifcha knainis, is considered like a kodesh. Excuse my words, but it's a male prostitute. That's what kodesh means in simple words. A person who is kodesh is behaving like prostitution. That's the only word I can use. And that is a person who's degrading himself to be with the knainis. Elamai, be'eved ivri, there's a chiddush. The Torah is mechadish, a big, special, specific chiddush. Yeah, Eved Ivri, yeah, he's degraded a little bit. And therefore, that Eved Ivri, the Ritva said that's why he does have a different status. He needs a get shichu, possibly kind of thing, yeah? Because he does have a bit of different status, the ability to build the Shifcha Kanani, so even force him to build the Shifcha Kanani because that's beneficial for the Odoin. That's part of his rehab program. Sometimes rehab programs, I guess, are tough. I don't know. It's a tough rehab program. You have to be with the Kanainis, maybe actually likes her, as we see, whatever. That's where he's holding now. So now, frag the Gemara. Chidushu, Shifcha Kanainis Chidushu, Losh Na Koyanim, Losh Na Israel. Once the Torah told me a Chidush that a Yid can be with the Kanainis, with the Shifcha Kanainis, the Torah is Mechadish, meaning the Torah goes against its grain. The Torah is telling me something that's an exception to the rule. I don't care if it's a Kohen or Israel. Because a Kohen is holier than the regular Jew, so what? At the end of the day, nobody can marry a Goite, nobody can marry Shifcha Kanainis, but it's not a Goite, you know that. Shifcha Kanainis is not a Goite, she's like, halfway through. She's like an Eved Kanaini. Yeah, so Lamaisa, who cares? It's the same Isser for all. And the Isser was mutar by the Torah as an exception to the rule. Oy Dilma, or maybe not. Shiny Kohanim, oil v'riba ben akos of mitzvahs yiseros. Because Kohanim, the Torah has extra mitzvahs regarding Kohanim that don't apply to other Jews, right? Kohanim cannot become Tomeh, v'chule v'chule. You mekadesh the Kohanim, you treat them differently, they give birkas Kohanim, and many Isurim, all the Tuma, and all that. They can't marry a Grusha, can't marry a Chalala, can't marry a Zaino, ta-ta-ta-ta, pu-pu-pu. So you see, Kohanim have a whole different set of rules that we regular folks don't. So maybe here, but the Shifcha Kanainis, Kohanim cannot be just compared to regular guys like us. Maybe here too, there's special status, and therefore the Kohen may not be the Shifcha Kanainis. That's a question. Rav Omar Mutar. Rav says it's allowed. Machlokes. Rav says, although a Kohen is of higher status, but at the end of the day, since the Isser Lo Yeh Kodesh applies to both Kohanim and Zorim, it's the same. Mutar is mutar for everybody. The law applies to everyone. Shmuel Omar Osu. Shmuel said Osu. Shmuel said no, because Kohanim have a special status for many other things, all kinds of Isurim. So too, it's mutar for regular Jews, but for a Kohen Eved, he cannot be for the Shifcha Kanainis. When you acquire an Eved Kohen, make sure that you know not to be meshadchim. Don't shadchin him with Fatima. Omer le Rav Nachman le Ravanan. Here, Rav Nachman is telling Ravanan a very, very strong statement here. Get ready for something strong. Ki avisu beimar Shmuel is criticizing Shmuel's opinion. When you have visu, when you were learning by the master Shmuel, what were you guys doing? Beis kumadri itlalisu. You're playing with pieces of wood. You're playing games while you're listening to Shiur and not paying attention to Shiur. Or some say skundrit lalisu. You're playing with puppies. You're playing with little dogs. Maybe they lived in Ramah Aleph. There are more dogs than people here, I think, soon. Yeah. In other words, you're playing games. You're not listening. You're not paying attention to what Shmuel was saying. Because had you listened to what Shmuel said, you would have challenged him. My time why couldn't you challenge and tell Shmuel that he's wrong from the following statement? What's a statement which we just saw before? The Chachamim oimrim, we said that Chachamim say, Ein Eved Ivri Kohen Nirtza, Mipnei Shenase Ba'al Mum. Remember what we said about a Kohen cannot be Nirtza, cannot have his ear pierced in order to stay longer, What's the one and only reason? Oy, mum. Oy, oy, oy. That's what concerns you? Wait a second. Can you not look at the Gemara for a second? Put two and two together. According to Shmuel, an Eved Ivri Cohen, right from day one, never touched the Shifcha Knainis, had nothing to do with Shifcha Knainis. He sleeps in a very far away part in the plantation, yeah? So how could he be Nirtza? Why is the Nirtza being Nirtza? Because he says what? What does he declare to the master? Ahavti es. And who else? Ves. Ishti. Which Ishti does he love? Exactly. Huh? Krainis. Ah, no, so put two and two together. Well, if you're telling me that the Kohen never had that kind of Ishti, how can he be Nirtza? He never had the Shifcha Krainis to love. He needs somebody to love. He doesn't. V'im toimar ein rabba mosel Shifcha Krainis. If you Shmuel are right, if what you're saying is right, is Rebbe never gave him Shifcha Knainis because they're not allowed to, because the Kohen is Kodesh, 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 Tepukle, then anyhow, you should come from a different direction that it can be Nirtza. The Ba'ina, we require halachically, Ahavti es Adoni es Ishti, I'm not screaming, es Ishti with big red letters, ves Bonai, the Bonim from her. He has no Ishti and no Bonai, not the Knaini, Veleka. Well, he doesn't have any. So what do you care about? Yeah, about the mum before you get to the mum. You can't even begin the process. You can't even fathom the idea of him being nirtza because he has no reason to be nirtza because he doesn't have ishti v'bonai. Tuloi midi. Tuloi midi means that's in nice English knockout. Tuloi midi is a knockout. In other words, that's it. That there's nothing to argue about. And Shmuel's opinion was completely off the board. I don't know what Shmuel would say. I haven't gone that far in my preparation. I guess Shmuel would have an answer. Maybe Shmuel believes that it's not an imperative to say after Sishti v'Sadon's Bonai. Maybe it could be other reasons. Maybe the Gemara gives you an example. I love my master. Maybe he just loves his master. He loves the Balabais. He doesn't love the non-existent wife. He doesn't have. Maybe. I don't know. We will see more about it. I know that the sugya of Avti Sishti will appear later on. So maybe then there's different opinion. But so far, Shmuel at the moment is losing big time because if there is no Ishti, there is no Retzia. That's Poshup Pshat, Betula Midi. Yes. Maybe he has to have children with her. Maybe he has to have what's a Havamina? What's a Havamina? The Torah says so. The Torah says, Adoini Ishti Ubanai. And if not, then he can't be Nirtza. No, so then he can't say it. He can only say, he can't say, I'm staying because I like the food and I like the color of the walls. The Torah gives you a specific a formula, a condition, prerequisite. When can a person be Nirtza? What 6 years? What's the reason? It says, I'm sorry, black and white in the Torah. Adoini Ishti Ubanai. The Gemara will talk later about all the details. What about the other family, the rest of the family? Poshet Pshat. Yes. Only if he likes the master, his Knaini wife, and his Knaini kids, only then he can say it. Otherwise, no. If he doesn't have kids, l'choyer or not, again, to be discussed later. But so far, Shmuel's opinion was knocked off the board. Yeah, Pashup Pshat. Now, Iboilu. Oh, here we come to a whole new. Oh, before we continue, let me give an introduction. And I must say, for me, there were also some new stuff that I saw today in the Rambam, which I didn't see before. The topic is Yefas Toyer. What's a Yefas Toyer? The Torah says at the beginning of Parshas Kiseitze, if a person goes out to war, and that war is Milchemes Reshus, not Milchemes Mitzvah, it's not an obligatory war of a mitzvah, it's a war that you could have avoided and you didn't, the wars that the leftists don't like, the Milchemes Reshus. And now in that Milchama, you see an Eshes Yefas Toyer in the Shevi. As you're schlepping the captives to your place, you see a Yefas Toyer, a beautiful woman, and you want her. You desire her, and you have tremendous yitzhar hara for that lady because they would make themselves do it on purpose, right? Those goitas, they would make like a honey trap for the Jewish soldiers, and therefore she looks really good, and you want to be with her. So then what can you do? Already now starts Machlokes Rishonim. I'm following now the Ritva and Tosfos and Rambam. The majority of Rishonim say you can have relations with her. Go to a tzanua place. Don't do it in front of everyone. Go to a tzanua place. Although there are 10 people who know that you're going into the room with a goita woman, with a goisha woman, and you do what you do with her, which otherwise would be also doraisa. Midoraisa, the isser to be with the goita is only if 10 people know about it. if you have a secret goyish friend, yeah, then it's also very, very awesome in the Rabbonon. Yeah, Nashgaz, that's in Daf Lamed Vav Amud Beis in Avodah Zarah. But Stamazoi Midoraisa, a goyish woman, involving a lot of Divrei Rishonim. Midoraisa, a goyish woman, otherwise is also if people know about the relationship. If 10 people know that you are boyfriend girlfriend, yeah, you advertise it. So here everybody knows it's a situation of war. All the other soldiers are there. They're all in Gaza on the hill and this and that. Everyone's in Gaza. So they all know. And if you have a goyish friend there, that would have been Osir. It would have been Osir. Midoraisa comes the Torah and tells you, as we're going to see soon, the famous line, it's a soldier in war, is far away from home. The Bala Musar say, usually, why can't you be with a goy? A tremendous Yitzhar, you have a beautiful friend at work. I don't know, the girl next to you in the office. Oh, she's stunning and friendly, and she even likes the Jews more than the head of Penn University and Harvard. They like the Jews very much. She likes them even more. Yeah, the three machashefas. So then what? So you see it now, three of them. So then what do you see? What's the difference? The difference here in the office, nobody told you to be in that office. Change work, change office, do something else. Here, the Torah told you you have to go to war knowing that there are women there. If the Torah told me to go to the Nisayan, the Torah told me to be in that Nisayan, so then the Torah also allows me to have one off one time with that woman. However, you can't just have a one off thing with her, like a one night thing. You can only be with her once at war, and then you have to bring her home, and then starts a 30 days process in which, as we're going to see later, she has according to most Rishonim, she'll eventually be forced to be Jewish, whether she likes it or not. You bring her home, she shaves her head or she grows her hair, and she shaves her, she cuts her nails, or she grows her nails. Machlokes Tanoim actually, Masechus Simchas. Bekitzer, she has to look ugly. She has to look ugly for 30 days. If she wants to become Jewish within the 30 days, she decides, she cries over her father, her mother, her religion. She wants to become Jewish, Gesundheit, very good. If she does want to become Jewish after 30 days, according to some Rishonim, she has to be Jewish, and that's why it's not the best gerus. It's a gerus which is also b'di'evet, and it's only because he really wants her. So we tell him, okay, if you want to Gesundheit, and you have this funny kind of gerus, or according to the Rambam, she always has a choice. Rambam more humanistic. The Rambam says she has a choice up to a year. If after a year she wasn't convinced that she wants to be Jewish, you sent her to Arachim seminar, to Eish Discovery, or Sameach. She's still not interested, so she should become a Noachide. Hopefully that much she was convinced, and you let her go. And you're not allowed to sell her. That's an Issa Dorais. You're not allowed to sell her, trafficking of women, Chas v'shalom. You don't do that. Either you're her husband or you just send her away. Now that's in general the story. Iboilu, everything will be explained and Imel Hashem elucidated. Ibailu, there was a question. Cohen, Mr. Cohen goes to war. I have a big question already now. I have a question. Yes, Akiva. So my question is as follows. Cohen, I don't know what a Cohen does in Milchemes Rashus, because as far as I know, Kohanim don't go to Milchemes Rashus. Shevet Levi, they don't go to Milchemes Rashus, only Milchemes Mitzvah. And this Rashi says Milchemes Rashus. I don't know what the Kohen is doing there. I remember the question being asked somewhere. No, article. When you need the article, where is he? I did manage to check it. It's probably a chronische question. I don't know, but it's a question. Bekitzer, a Kohen is at war. Yeah, the Kohen is in. As Meshuach Milchom is giving them the instructions, the pep talk. He's not going to war with them. No, so he sees if the Kohen Meshuach Milchom sees if fast toyer. He gives a pep talk, then he goes home. I don't think so. No, only at the beginning. Then they go without him. I don't think so. And he saw maybe he's mechazik them. Then he sees a beautiful woman. It can happen to anyone. Maybe. Okay, Ibailu. That's a nice title for Haaretz. Ibailu. Weiter. Here maybe. Cohen. Malbi fast toyar. Can a Cohen actually take a fast toyar? Can a Cohen be with a fast toyar, with a beautiful Goyish woman? What's the question? Chidushu, on one hand, similar to the Shifcha Knainis, it's a Chidush by Cohen and by Israel. Why? Because the first time around, when is he with her? When is he intimate with her? The first time, she's still a Goyisha. She's still a Goyta. I'm following most Rishonim. I'm not going with Rashi now. Rashi here is the odd one out. It's a hard Rashi. According to most Rishonim, the first time you're with her, right away, yeah, you feel very attracted. and what? You go to the room with her, and what? And you do what you do, and that's a chiddush because she's not Jewish, and there are people who know. Everybody else in Golani, Givati, Duvdevan, they all know what you're doing with the girl. So how is that allowed? Chiddush, special chiddush of the Torah. Oh, that's a chiddush. Loshna Cohen, Veloshna Israel. Cohen or Israel. What's the difference? We're all Jews. It's yeah, everyone. Nobody's allowed to be with the goiter. If here it's allowed by everyone. I, on the other hand, ideal, or maybe no. Same question as before. Shiny koyanim, ho'il v'ribe ben mitzvahs eseros. Koyanim have extra mitzvahs. Koyanim have to be purer, no grusha, no chalolo, no zoino, no this, no that. So maybe here koyanim, yeah, the Cohen who's a soldier, yeah, whatever, Rav Pakad, Rav Samal Cohen cannot be with the goiter because he's holier. So then the same question and the same machlokes. Rav Omar Muto, the Shmuel Omar Osu. Rav said it's allowed, and Shmuel said it's not allowed. However, here we have a clear dichotomy between the first time he's with her and the second time. According to most Rishonim, the first time the Jew is with the goiter, the Jewish soldier, is at war. She's completely not Jewish, nothing to do with Jewishness, Judaism. First time. Why? The first time he has tremendous Yetzer Hara. Let him go with her once, otherwise you do it without permission. You know what you say about kids, if you don't let him do this, he'll do it anyways. Let him do it within a permitted framework. The second time is at least a month later. After he brought her home, then he has to wait a month with the whole process. She cries and she looks ugly. Do you still want her even when she's ugly? Do you really love her, or you love her like the Goyim think, like Hollywood love, which is lust, yeah? So after the month, only then you're allowed to be with her second time. There's a big gap between the first time you're with her, the goiter, and the second time you're with her, and then she's already Jewish, and you toivel. She's already toivel to Yadus. She converts. She goes to the mikvah and converts. So what? Married, of course they're married. Then they're married legally. Second time they're married. They're a married couple. They're nice Jewish couple. They're not so nice because they're married because a gerus is forced, according to many Rishonim. And that's what's the second pasha? What's the following pasha right after Yifastoyer? Ben Sarumoire, Snua, and then Ben Sarumoire. The Torah says you married that beautiful woman. If all you care about is the beauty and nothing else, then you're going to hate her eventually. Your kids will not be good kids. Avshalom, what a good kid. He gave so much nachas to David HaMelech. Ran around the country trying to kill him and had relations with 10 of his wives. What a nachas for the kind, yeah? Avshalom was from a fastor. Yeah, so you see, to marry a fastoyer, you marry the chicks, whatever. The end of the story is not. It won't be a happy end at the end of the movie. Yeah. So now, Rava Mamuto Shmuel Osu continues the Gemara. Baby Arishoino the Kulal Malpligi the Shori. The first time is with her. Everyone agrees that the Cohen is allowed to be with the goiter. Wow, why? At the end of the day, the Torah is, maybe I shouldn't say it, being pragmatic. The Torah says, listen, Kohanim also have Yetzer Hara. We all have Yetzer Hara. All men are men, whether a Kohen, Levi, Israel, we all have our base Yetzer Hara. And if you want to allow Mr. Cohen to be with her, he'll anyhow do it. So the same logic that allows you to a Jew allows you to the Kohen, to the Kohen Jew. Kipligi. When did Rav and Shmuel argue? Bebia Shnia. The second time round, when what is she? A Gioires. A Gioires normally, so she's a Gioires, what's the problem? It's all kosher. Can a Kohen marry a Gioires? No. Because a Gioires started her life as a Zoino. Because every Goisha woman is assumed to be a Zoino, which unfortunately you see. They have relations before the Chasana in college and high school, all over, yeah? So Mimela, a Goita woman is Becheskas a Zoino. Even though Gershon is Gar Kekot and Shenoilad, it doesn't help for that, because physically she has her history with men, yeah? So that does make a difference. So now we have a big question. Now for the Yisrael, the second time round is kosher. For the Kohen, still an issue of what? Of a Gioiris. So Rav Omar Muto, Ushmuel Omar Osu. Oh, that's a Shaila. May Mr. Cohen, the soldier, who was with who? With a Goita at war one time, schlepping her now home, is he allowed to be with her and continue the process, and she'll be Megayer and they'll be married second time onwards, yes or no? Rav says yes, and Shmuel says no. Why? Rav Omar Mutar. Why does Rav say Mutar? Ho'il v'ishtaria ishtari, which means once she's allowed, she's allowed. Meaning, although the reason of the great Yetzer Hara, as the Gemara will say later, the real burning Yetzer Hara is the first time. Yeah, first is the tour. It's all crazy. He sees a beautiful woman. Oh, after a long time without being with a woman, he needs that one time. Second time, there isn't such burning Yitzhahara. He's also home. He has a wife, by the way, in many cases. Yeah, that's his second wife. Yeah. Elamai says Rav, you know what? Enechinami. The reason may not be here anymore. And it could be an issue of Gioiris, but once it's allowed, it's allowed. It's a din in the Gavra, in her. She, as a chefza, she as a person became mutter once, she's mutter forever. It's one, as we'll see later, there's a logic to it. We don't want him to have one time and then dump her. Once he was with her once, show loyalty and continue with her, even in the price of mechalel your kehuna. The Torah still allows that, even though you're desecrating yourself. You started with her, continue with her. That's Rav. Shmuel also. Shmuel said, no, mapitom, it's not allowed. I'm sorry, says Shmuel. She's a gioris. The gioris lekoin lochazia. Says Shmuel, I'm old-fashioned. I don't believe in that. The first time she wasn't a gioris, and there's Yetzer Hara. She was worse. She was a goita. I know. But Lamaisa was big Yetzer Hara. Second time, it's not such big Yetzer Hara. And she's a gioris. A gioris, lekoin lochazia. And also, there's another reason. The second time, you can't say she was mutter to the Jew and also to the Cohen. It's not true. Because for the Jew, there's no special heter. For the Jew, it's poshut she's allowed, right? If she's a gioris. So you only matter to the Cohen. Get what I'm saying? The first time we can say we paint everyone in the same paintbrush. Cohen, Levi, Soil, Manzel, Nosin. All the Chayalim in Givati, Golani, they're all the same, right? They're all not allowed to be, none of them is allowed to be the Goite. Just like the Israel can be, so to the Cohen. What's the difference? Mashenkin, the second time, when the Israel was Megair, his wife, it's okay for him and the Levi. For the Cohen, no. There's a specific Isra of Gioris only for the Cohen. We're allowed him to be with the Gioris. That's why they say the second time, once she's a Gioris, it's not allowed. Itzor is not as strong. The Isra is specific, not according to Shmuel. Rav says no. Rav says, I believe once you started the Mahalach with her, you continue the Mahalach with her. The Torah allows you, once you have 1 foot in, you have the whole thing in, and you continue with her. That's opinion number one. We're going to see another way to explain the Machlokes, but that's the first opinion. Yes. Question time. Now we're going to see an yeah. I'm listening. Okay. So. Ikadamri. Some learn the Machlokes differently. We are about 6 lines from the bottom of the page in Kiddushin Chaf Aleph Amud Beis. There a different explanation of the same Machlokes Rav Shmuel. According to this opinion, both Rav Shmuel believe that the second time round onwards, she's not allowed to be with the Kohen, not allowed to, as you said, marry him. Don't continue with her. Why? She's a Gioires. Who? That Goita. What's a fast toya? A Gioires. The fact she's a doubtful Gioires, leave that alone. Even according to the Rambam, she's a good Gioires. She really sincere. Let's say she wants it. She's a Gioires. I'm sorry. A Kohen cannot marry Gioires. Fact, yeah, because a Gioris was a Zoina and halachically remains so. Wow. The Bia Rishoina is when they argue. Rav Omer Muto. Rav says the Kohen is allowed to be with her even though he's a Kohen. The Torah only spoke, the Torah gave you that permission corresponding to Yetzer Hara. And guess what? I was never a Kohen in my life. My assumption is Koyanim have Yetzer Hara just like us Israelim, and therefore what the idea, the remedy for Yetzer Hara here to give him a little bit of the drug applies to Koyanim as well. Shmuel no, Asu no. Why does Shmuel say Asur? Shmuel knows that Koyanim have Yetzer Hara, but Shmuel comes with a very interesting svara. Shmuel said you're not allowed to be with her. Why? As I told you before, if you can be Mekayim, if you can fulfill the second part of the story, bring her to your house. She should look ugly. She should cry. Have her shaven. Satmer have what to be mistamechon. Yeah, she can become kvetchi goite, working with a smartut like that. If you, for 30 days, if you can be Mekayim that and be her husband second time onwards, then Karina be'verisa b'shivya. Then you can be Mekayim. If you see her in the captivity when she's beautiful, you go the first time. And you can have relations first time. Let me explain. Yeah. In other words, Shmuel says as follows. You know what? Says Shmuel, I'm so sorry, Mr. Cohen. I understand you have tremendous burning Yetzer Hara. Yeah, unbelievable. Elamai, I'm sorry, you can't have a one go. It's not a disco party in Tel Aviv over here. You do whatever you want. No, the idea of the Torah is that you can be with her once, to cool off from Yetzer Hara, in order and in condition that eventually you'll bring her home, make her your legal wife, make her Jewish, etc., etc. But since both my colleague Rav and I agree that this cannot continue, because even if she'll be the most Gioris Tzadekis with the tichel down to here and giving Shiurim, at the end of the day she'll be Gioris at best, kosher Gioris. He won't be able to be with her. He won't be able to be her husband, right? So since it cannot continue, you're not allowed to be with her. First time says Shmuel. Rav says no. Rav separates between the stories. Rav says, listen, the guy has crazy Yatzar, just let him be with her. What's going to happen later? No. So the Cohen will not bring her home. I don't know. So she'll stay. I don't know, whatever. She'll just be Chevy and clean someone's floor, or a different guy, or maybe she'll be a Shivcha. Nothing. Yeah? And that's a machloikis. Okay. Now we're going to see more on the same. On the whole topic of Yifas Toya comes now another set of rules which we're going to learn now. The Ro'isa Bashivya, there are many limitations to the rule of Yifas Toya. By the way, I want you to know, the Rambam says it's halacha, not everybody knows. I only learned about it about 15 years ago. The Rambam says, based in the, I don't remember the Gemara is, that when people go to war, they can even eat treif. While they are at, while they're in, I don't know if Gaza has this halacha, yeah, but while they're at war, they can eat chazir and they can eat basa b'cholov. They eat whatever there is, even if it's not pikuach nefesh. It sounds like it's a chiddush. Pikuach nefesh, everyone can eat chazir if you're about to die. But at war, the chayalim, there's a source for it. They came to Eretz Yisrael where they were conquering. So here too, the Rambam connects the halachas. The Rambam says also you can be with the goite. It doesn't mean they can just be with whoever they want, whichever way they want. There are limitations to the rule of Yifas Toyer too. So what does it say? Vero'isa b'shivya, says Rashi b'shas shivya. What does that mean? Says Rashi, if at the time of the shivya you all of a sudden notice her, she's standing there in line with many other people, old and young, and you see that specific person that's very she's very attractive to you in the middle of the shivya. Only if you're interested in her as a woman and as a wife right from the start. But if you didn't feel like being with her, you thought she can clean my floor very nicely. She can be a very nice diaper changer. And then your tzahara kicked in and said, oh, she can actually be my friend. Then you're not allowed to be with her. It has to be that your tzahara struck you the first time and attacked you as a woman, as her as being a woman for you. As Shivya, right from the time of the Chevy, don't bring her, halfway through between Gaza and Bnei Brak, you decide, actually she's good looking. No, too late. Now, Ashes, it says Ashes, Vafilu Ashes Ish. Oh, we just stepped into a minefield, my friend. May the Gaza soldiers should not step into minefields. Ashes, even if she's a married goite, a married goite, even she's allowed to be, you're allowed to marry her and do the whole process, even though Mackenzie, her husband, is there in their hometown. What's the story with Ashes Ish? The Rishonim ask, excuse me, Goyim don't have the concept of Ashes Ish. In other words, Goyim have the concept of Ashes Ish towards each other. In other words, McKinley cannot be with his next door neighbor, Mrs. Mackenzie. But for a Jew, so Tosis doesn't ask it in so many words. Some Rishonim say, En chinami, the Tosis Rosh, I saw so much today. Some Tosis, not this one, they say En chinami. From here you see the Midoraisa, actually, there is an Isser for a Jew to be with an Eshes Ish of a Goy. What Chachami or Yasid later, or Metakan later, or Goizer later, is not even a Pnuya, not even a single Goita, even a non-married one, yeah? Interesting, I never knew that. So apparently if the Eshes Ish of a Goy, it's a worse Avera than if she's not married. The Rambam says, Fakert, the Rambam says, from here you see that there is no Ishes to Goita. In other words, because it says Afil Eshes Ish, is not telling me, usually you can't be with a Goyish married woman, and here the Torah allows you. Says Rambam, no. This is the source that really, for a Goyish woman, there is no difference whether she's married or not. It's not an exception to the rule. In other words, it doesn't make a difference. A Jew is not allowed to be with a non-Jewish woman, as we all know. Says Rambam, here you see that there is no difference whether she's married or not. That is actually the source. We don't care. Now, that's in short. Yifas Toya. What's Yifas Toya? Who cares? Yifas Toya, beautiful. Who cares if she's beautiful or not? You fast Torah doesn't mean that she is beautiful. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, but you see her as beautiful. What motivates you is your Yetzer Hara. That explains to you the Ashkofa here. What does it mean that the Torah is corresponding to Yetzer Hara? The Torah uses such a psychology. Mutav she'ochlu Yisrael b'sar tmutois shchutois ve'al yochlu b'sar tmutos nevelos kavbeis amud aleph, which means, let's say you have an animal that's about to die. I don't know if it has a status of treifa or not. It's not so clear, but it's definitely disgusting. The animal, we all know that, veal, young animals are tastier. This animal is old yachne of an animal. Yeah, it's about to die, and it's really not nice to eat. If you shecht it quickly, not mechubed, not nice, but it's kosher. In Hebrew, we say kosher val masriach. Verstunks, but it's kosher. It's better to eat that than to wait until the animal dies completely and then you shecht it. There's no shechting by a dead animal. It's an avela. In other words, we know that the Cohen is going to do it anyways. Let's make it kosher for him. Let's create a kosher framework, because not the Cohen, the Israel, maybe the Cohen too. It's machlokes, yeah. The person is allowed to be with her, because otherwise it would have been even worse. So allow him the lesser of the two evils, the Rabbi Miyute. Quickly, please. The choshakto. What does it say? You desire her. In other words, even if she's not beautiful, everyone would say that that's, fat, toothless, old woman, she's really bichlal not good looking, but you desire her, then you're allowed to take her with all the conditions. Now, you desire her, excluding v'loy bar b'chaverto, you can't take two. Only one. Don't start a whole party over there. One per one, yeah? V'lokachto, likuchin yesh lechabo. Oh, likuchin yesh lechabo, that's a whole different story. You're allowed to marry her. Eventually, the marriage would be toifus. You should marry her legally. And, Rashi says, this is Rashi, and here Rashi and Tosfos agree. I didn't even tell you Rashi's shita yet. What's a chiddush? Of course, he can marry a gioris. She'll be a kosher Jewess, and he'll marry her. You can marry a gioris. If you're not a Cohen, what's the chiddush? Says Rashi, it's forced. Many Rishonim believe that her gerus is not really meratzon. She's a captive, and you wait with her a month. You try to convince her, megal galima, try to convince her. If she wasn't convinced, you still megayah her. So that's ver b'diavad. It's also only because of the Yetzer Hara. Usually, you can't force a woman to convert and then marry her. No such thing. That's a chiddush here, allowed to do that according to Rashi. Lecho leisha, yeah, shelo yikach shtei noshim achas lo v'achas le'oviv. Should be your wife. Don't take two women. One who you want for your father. Achas lo v'achas lebno. Don't start trafficking. Yeah, he has a father or an old son at home. I'll take two for the price of one. One for me, one for daddy, one for my son. Maybe 3, 4 for all the uncles. Don't start a whole trail of goitas behind you, one for each. Don't do that. Only one for you. Opa, that's a big one. You can only start the process, according to Tosfos, you can only start the 30 days process of Gerus once you're home. Let's say you captured her, you put her in some house in Khan Yunis, she's now captive, yeah, but you're still at war. And she's designated for you. When you go home, you can't start the 30 days process of war and then after 30 days be your husband, she'll be your wife. You can only start the 30 days process once you're home, which can be 2 or 3 months from now. That's according to Tosfos. Rashi says, here I'm throwing the big bomb. Ooh. Rashi says, you're not allowed to be with her at all at war. During the war, according to Rashi, that's his Rashi's special shita, you're not allowed to touch her, pinky. Can't touch her b'chlal while at war. The first bia is home before she's Jewish. Yeah, and even that's not so clear. Maybe Rashi means after the gear, and that's there are many questions on this Rashi. Remind me tomorrow to tell you more about the Rashi. Tomorrow's Rosh Chodesh. No, tomorrow's not yet Rosh Chodesh. No, tomorrow's Erev Rosh Chodesh. So tomorrow we'll talk more about Lol Chatzer b'Milchama, Rashi, and how the other shittas relate to Rashi, and then we'll continue with Hashem. May we all win this war, and I like the Israeli soldiers not to bring any of the women from over there. I don't think none of them begin to be interesting for anybody. And okay, we'll finish at that. Okay, one of the questions on Rashi, Hazim Yashav the Yetzer Hara. If he knows only at the end of the war, still not wither. So how's his Yetzirah being calmed down? To be continued. Thank you to everybody here, everybody on Torah Anytime, everybody on YouTube, and I hope this recording was reasonable. Thank you. Atzlocho, bracha, and peace upon the world. Mashiach should come soon.